When the world was ending, my girlfriend, Lily, suddenly acted like a saint. She insisted on running into the zombie crowd to save her friend, Ken. I was about to stop her when words started appearing in front of my eyes, like comments on a video. They said things like, "Don't try to stop her. She's just a bad person," and "Let people face their own destiny. Don't be a hero." One even said, "She'll open the door for the zombies later and get you too." The hand I was reaching out froze. The next second, I patted Lily's shoulder and said, "Go ahead, I respect what you want to do." Lily looked surprised, as if she had expected me to stop her. Her annoyed expression hadn't even gone away yet. But she didn't have time to wonder why I had said that. Outside, Ken was in serious danger, with zombies getting closer. Without thinking, Lily turned and ran out. As soon as she left, I quickly shut and locked the door behind her. I was worried she might bring the zombies over, so I pushed all the tables and chairs from the living room to block the door. Just as I felt a bit relieved, more comments floated by. "Ha ha ha, good job. You listened to advice, and I like that. But you're still dumb. You didn't even see she was cheating on you." What? Cheating? I looked out the window. Somehow Ken had gotten a gun and shot at the zombies. Then, he picked Lily up in his arms, like it was a dramatic moment. It seemed like I had been cheated on. After all, who would risk their life during a zombie outbreak to go after someone else's girlfriend? Lily and I had argued about Ken many times. The first time was at Ken's welcome back party. Right in front of me, he clinked glasses with Lily, their arms linked together for a toast. Then, with a smirk, he looked at me and said, "Mike, don't get the wrong idea. I've always thought of Lily as a little sister. If we were ever meant to be together, you wouldn't even have a chance." Lily, looking innocent, added, "Don't worry about it. It's just a game." Then, as people cheered, they both drank. I sat there, watching without saying anything. As soon as she finished her drink, Lily hurried over to me, rubbing her face against my arm. "Game's over, honey. Let's go home," she said sweetly. It seemed like she still had some sense of shame back then. I held back the angry words I wanted to say, and tried to believe I was just overthinking things. The second time was in the middle of the night. Lily got a phone call, immediately got out of bed, got dressed, and left. By 7 a.m., I saw a post on Ken's social media. "Even when I'm at my lowest, I know you'll always be by my side." We both knew exactly who he was talking about. It was a message meant for me to see. That day, Lily and I had a big fight. She bit her lip and argued, "Ken and I grew up together. He's always looked out for me. Now he's lost his job and has a lot of debt. After such a big problem, how could I just ignore him?" I stared at her blankly and said, "Oh, so taking care of him means staying out all night and not coming home?" Her expression changed to something I hadn't seen before. She frowned. "Mike, you weren't like this before." After that, we didn't talk much. Then I found out she was helping Ken move, helping him find a job, even using her own money to help him get back on his feet. But Ken wasn't looking for a job at all. He seemed happy to live off her, drinking alcohol every day. And every time he got drunk, he would call Lily to pick him up. At the end of those calls, he'd even act self-righteous, sighing, "Lily, isn't it a bit wrong for you to see me every day? I wouldn't want Mike to get the wrong idea." And Lily, she just looked at me and coldly said, "An innocent person doesn't need to explain themselves." Innocent? I didn't believe it. I wasn't the type to accept being betrayed. So I broke up with her right then and there and told her to leave my house. I never expected her to come back crying, begging to get back together, saying she had really learned her lesson. That was around the time the first news came about violent attacks from unknown infected people. It turned out the zombies had been around for a while already. People just didn't want to believe it. and before we knew it, we were trapped here. To survive, we quickly tried to get as many supplies as we could before the outbreak got really bad. But what I hadn't expected was that Lily gave Ken our location. And I definitely didn't expect that even in such a dangerous situation, Ken would still come looking for her. But you know what? It's fine. I don't have enough supplies anyway. One less person means less food needed. I'd like to see how those two plan to survive. Maybe, sensing I was watching, Lily looked up at me. Almost immediately, more comments floated across my vision. Damn, can these two just die already? Thinking about what they did before makes me sick. Someone replied, "The main girl won't die that easily." Another person commented, "Oh my God, are they seriously planning to run upstairs and beg the main character to take them in? If he forgives them, I swear I'm going to lose it." Someone else added, "Not a chance. Didn't you see how Mike blocked the door?" I took a deep breath, trying to think clearly. If I was the main character they were talking about, and Lily was the main girl, that meant Lily probably had some kind of protection in the story. She wouldn't die easily. I looked around the room. I had gotten as many supplies as I could, but I wasn't a prophet. I couldn't have prepared everything I'd need for the end of the world in advance. If I ate them all myself, I figured they might last around 3 months at most. But right now, the most important problem was that Ken had a gun. If they tried to break in, I wouldn't just lose my supplies. I might lose my life. I needed a plan. In a flash, the two of them managed to get away. Ken had just turned on his phone's music, made it really loud, and thrown it away. The loud song cut through the night, immediately making the zombies go somewhere else. Since it was still the beginning of the outbreak, there weren't too many zombies yet, and they weren't very smart. They got away. But for me, this was bad. Wouldn't that mean they were coming straight to my apartment building? And they had a gun. I didn't know how many bullets were left. Comments flooded in, so many that I could barely read them all. They actually got away. Damn, they're going to Mike's building. Shit, and they have a gun. Another person commented, "With Ken's messed up mind, Mike is in danger." Others tried to reassure themselves. "Calm down, dude, the door is blocked. Even if they shoot, they can't get in, and they'll just attract more zombies." Yeah, as long as Mike doesn't open the door, he'll be fine. But then one comment made me feel really scared. "You're celebrating too soon. They're climbing through the window." My mind went blank. Lily and Ken knew I wouldn't open the door for them, so they chose another way in. I hadn't had enough time to make my place really secure. The windows weren't strong or soundproof. They were just locked with regular latches. If they shot the windows, they could easily climb inside. Just as I realized this, I heard knocking. Outside the window were their faces. They were struggling to stay on the narrow ledge, asking for help. In a split second, I had a plan. They expected me to say no. So I'd do the opposite, surprise them. Pretending to be worried, I shouted, "Hold on! I'm opening the window right now, just hang on!" Sure enough, more comments flooded in. "No way, Mike, are you crazy? What the heck are you doing? You want to die? Don't make me start swearing. I can't believe this." Ugh, I thought he was different. Still just a dumb guy at the end of the day. Hearing my words, they looked relieved. Ken, without hesitating, put his gun away. Now I rushed forward, unlocked the window, and threw it open. And at the same time, I grabbed the fire extinguisher next to me and sprayed it right at them. "You bad people. You and your so-called brother can get away from me. You thought I'd save you? In your dreams. Go to hell." With their eyes full of spray and hands trying to hold on, they screamed, and then they fell. I slammed the window shut and locked it again. Unfortunately, since I lived on the second floor, there was a grassy area below. The bushes softened their fall. Damn, they weren't dead. But the noise had already brought some nearby zombies. I watched as Ken, gritting his teeth in pain, pulled Lily up and quickly dragged her into the building next to mine. Putting down the fire extinguisher, I patted my chest and breathed out. The comments popped up again. "Oh, playing with our feelings now, huh?" I held back all the curses I was about to scream. I was ready to use my big sword, but instead I peeled an apple. "Damn it, Mike, how dare you tease us?" Another comment read, "All of you who just cursed at Mike, apologize now." Someone replied, "I'm not apologizing unless he apologizes first. He tricked me so bad I almost cried." Someone else wondered, "But seriously, who keeps a fire extinguisher at home?" That would be me. I almost burned down my kitchen once, so for safety I bought one and kept it in my apartment. It was because of that extinguisher that I came up with the plan. If I had faced them directly, I would have been in a lot of trouble. Ken had a gun, but he never put his finger on the trigger, meaning they had another plan. If I said no, he'd shoot. If I was nice, he'd relax. So I tricked them. But after this, they'd probably want me dead. And just as I thought, my phone started ringing. Lily was calling me. I had no idea why she was calling after everything that had happened, but one thing was clear. She and Ken were still alive. I didn't want to answer. I was about to ignore the call when the comments started coming in. "Answer it! Why wouldn't you? Know your enemy, and you'll never lose a fight." Yeah, didn't they always make you feel disgusted before? Mike, give them a taste of their own medicine. I just love seeing them angry, wanting to kill you but completely unable to do anything. I sighed. You guys have no manners, do you? Still, I answered the call. Lily's voice came through almost immediately, her breath shaky, her tone full of sobs. "Mike, I can't believe you. How could you just leave us to die?" I raised an eyebrow. "Lily, why do you sound so weak? Are you about to die?" Before she could answer angrily, Ken's voice joined in. "Lily, I honestly didn't expect Mike to hate me this much. He actually wanted me dead. But tell me, have I ever really done anything wrong to him?" After a pause, he continued, "But I get it. He's just the type who needs to control everything. He can't stand his girlfriend having male friends. To get revenge, he'd forget all morals. He'd rather risk 2 human lives just to make himself feel better." "Lily, this is the man you wanted to get back together with." "I'm just being honest. Don't take it the wrong way. I just hate people like him. Selfish, small-minded, leaving his own girlfriend when she needs him most. No sense of responsibility at all. Ken is seriously crazy." I smirked and said, "Ken, I know you talk a lot and can't keep things to yourself, but that doesn't mean you should talk nonsense. And honestly, out of all the things you could have learned, you're really good at being a cheap jerk. And not just that, but the annoying, fake kind. You actually know she's someone else's girlfriend, and yet you spent all your time getting close to her. Are you asking for a beating? Do you just like getting hurt? And you, of all people, want to talk about responsibility? If you had any, why did you lose your job, get into debt from online loans, and end up living off someone else's girlfriend?" Lily jumped in, cutting me off. "Mike, I only see Ken as a friend. He was just telling the truth, and you got all upset. Why are you like this?" I shot back. "Oh, so you're saying you two are just pure friends, and I'm the one with a dirty mind? Let me ask you, what kind of decent woman already in a relationship drinks with another man like that? What kind of decent woman spends the night at another man's place? If you posted your nonsense online, you'd be famous for all the wrong reasons. Oh wait, he's a fake jerk and you're just cheap. A perfect match." Lily stopped crying. Instead, her voice rose with anger. "I told you, he's my childhood friend. We've always been like this. Do you have to be this cruel? You're so mean." I let out a cold laugh. The world was ending, and she was still this clueless. You two being shameless is one thing, but being stupid too, Just now, didn't you have a gun? Weren't you planning to kill me? I defend myself and suddenly I'm the cruel one? With how unfair you are, your mothers must get nice greetings from strangers all the time. Screw you. You. I hung up before she could finish. For a moment, the comments were quiet. Then, like an explosion, they flooded my vision. Ah, damn, Mike, that was epic. I love a main character with a sharp tongue. Mike really knows how to insult people. That was so satisfying. Another comment chimed in. Enjoying this too much, but now that Mike has completely ruined things with them, I don't think it's safe for him to stay here anymore. I felt the same way. This was still the early part of the end of the world, and no one could say what would happen next. But I had read enough zombie stories to know that in the best case, things would get better in a few years. Worst case, it could take much longer. I wasn't some survivor from the future who had stored up supplies before the outbreak. Even if Lily and Ken weren't trying to steal from me, my food would only last about 3 months. Staying alive for a long time was the real problem. I sighed, deciding to eat first and think later. Too bad I didn't know how to cook. Most of the food I had bought was instant meals. So I made a bowl of instant noodles, adding fish balls, sausages, eggs, and some vegetables. Just as I was enjoying my meal, a message popped up from Lily. We have no food. Can you spare some for the sake of our past relationship? Mike, the supplies you stocked up on. I helped with that too. She was insulting me just minutes ago, and now she wanted my food? Was she crazy? Did she really think I'd give her anything? There were zombies outside. Besides, if she willingly helped me get supplies, that was her choice. What did it have to do with me? What's mine is mine. What's hers is still mine. So I took a picture of my steaming hot bowl of noodles and sent it to her, replying, "But I don't have much either." I thought Ken risked everything to come find you because he had other plans. Lily responded, "Mike, do you have to talk like this?" I replied, Wait, are you telling me he really showed up alone with no plan? He risked his life for love? Damn, I'm actually jealous of your epic friendship." Comments popped up. Damn, this is pure evil. The sarcasm is killing me. Lily chose this path herself. Serves her right. Mike, whatever you do, don't help her. She's completely untrustworthy. Of course, I had no intention of helping her. By now, I was sure I was in a story. Originally, the plot was this. I was supposed to stop Lily from running to save Ken. She wouldn't say anything then, seeming to accept the situation and waiting for rescue with me. But deep down, she'd be angry at me. Later, she'd realize she actually loved Ken, and because I stopped her from saving him, she would hate me for it. Feeling hopeless, she would finally open the door and let the zombies in. According to the original story, before I was killed, she would glare at me with pure hatred and say, "Mike, do you know how Ken died? Now feel what it's like to be eaten in despair." Yeah, that's how it was supposed to go. So I needed to get rid of all threats to my life before they had a chance to kill me. I had to make sure they wouldn't sneak back in through the window at night. After finishing my meal, I quickly gathered cotton and blankets, stuffing them against the windows. That way, even if they shot the glass, I'd have time to react. But that wasn't my only plan. The top floor of this building had an apartment I had rented. The lease hadn't ended yet. I had originally stayed there while checking on renovations on this place. When Lily found me that day, I had just moved down. And back then, I had installed security cameras in the living room. I never told Lily about this. Even though she helped get supplies, I always had a backup plan for myself. I wasn't going to trust a woman who had already turned her back on me once. The bad thing was, the top floor apartment didn't have as many supplies as this one. The good thing was, I was the only person living up there, and since I worked from home, I had still kept a good amount of food. But the real problem was, how was I going to move my supplies upstairs? How much could I carry? Would I attract zombies? As I was thinking, A message popped up in the building's resident group chat. "Neighbors, does anyone have extra supplies they could spare? I just moved in after my apartment was renovated, and I have nothing at home. I know this is a big ask, but I promise I mean no harm. I'm willing to pay. I can pick it up using a drone if needed." The chat was quiet for a long time. Everyone was careful. Who wouldn't be? In times like these, trust was hard to find. Then, I had an idea. I replied, "There are zombies outside. I'm sure many people are willing to help, but opening doors and making noise could attract them." Almost immediately, someone agreed with me. "Exactly. We're not unwilling to help. We're just afraid of drawing attention." Another person asked, "By the way, do zombies have intelligence? Can they enter buildings? Can they break down doors?" Before long, someone who seemed to know a lot responded. "I've watched a lot of zombie shows. Early zombies rely on sound and smell to find movement. They're not intelligent yet. In our neighborhood, there aren't that many, and the entrance doors have passcodes. They can't get in, and they definitely can't climb windows. So I have a suggestion. Instead of staying separate, we should work together. I bet most people here only have a few months' worth of supplies. Staying alive for a long time will be hard. If we help each other, we might last longer." I immediately replied, "Agreed, +1. More people followed, +2, +3. From the messages, it looked like only a few dozen households were actively talking. Some people were probably staying quiet, wanting to keep to themselves. That made sense. No one dared to share their apartment numbers. So, to deal with this, the group decided that anyone willing to share supplies could leave them on the roof at certain times. Those who needed them could pick them up later. I didn't trust these people either, but I did need an excuse to move to the rooftop apartment. And right now, the elevators were still working. No one would dare take the elevator, though. But me, I was going to take a chance. I quickly packed as many supplies as I could into 2 large suitcases and filled my backpack. Then, I quietly opened the door. On this floor, only my apartment had been renovated, so I wasn't too worried about seeing anyone. The real problem would be running into people from other floors. But if I did, I'd just say I was going to help with the supply drop. The end of the world had just started. Even if people were going to become bad, it wouldn't happen right away. When I reached the elevator, it was empty. No one dared to use it because they didn't want others to know which floor they lived on. But I wasn't afraid. I carefully timed my movements based on the group chat and the comments I was seeing. It felt like I had a cheat code, like when the comments popped up with, "Hide now, someone is taking the stairs to the roof. Mike, you have 10 seconds to get into your apartment. Go!" Wait, someone's about to step out. Press multiple elevator buttons to stop on different floors and avoid getting caught. One even reminded me, rice, don't forget the rice. You can make porridge later. Porridge is just rice and water. You can cook that, right? Another one scolded, "Why are we talking about recipes right now? Move the supplies. My heart can't take this." I went back and forth 10 times before I finally got most of my stuff upstairs. It wasn't even that much, honestly. Supplies had been selling out like crazy before the outbreak. The fact that I had enough for 3 months was already a miracle. I was exhausted. I decided to take a short break before moving the last box of instant noodles. That's when I heard it. A gunshot, followed by the sound of breaking glass. My body tensed. It was Ken and Lily. And the next second, they'd tear down the blankets I'd used to block the window and break in. I didn't even have time to think. I left everything and ran for the door. The moment I stepped out, thud. The sound of a body hitting the floor. Shit. How did he get here so fast? I slammed the door shut, but another gunshot rang out. The bullet hit the door. They were trying to kill me. I ran. I flew down the hallway, sprinting toward the stairwell. Behind me, I could hear the sound of footsteps chasing me. If they caught me, I was dead. Comments flashed across my vision. "Holy shit! That shot was from Lily. She almost hit Mike. Lily is actually insane. She really tried to kill him. Mike, run! Don't look back!" My heart is about to explode. Mine too. I didn't stop, didn't hesitate. I ran all the way up to the 25th floor before slipping into my rooftop apartment, locking the door behind me, and collapsing onto the couch, gasping for air. I barely had time to breathe before. Ding dong! The doorbell. I froze. There was no way they had followed me this far. By the time they chased me out, I was already several floors up. Their goal wasn't to chase me down, it was to take the supplies. Besides, after everything they had been through today, they wouldn't risk climbing more stairs or showing themselves to other people. I took off my shoes, crept silently to the door, and peeked through the peephole. A girl. I didn't open the door. She hesitated for a moment, then left something on the ground before walking away. I waited, and waited. Once I was sure she was gone, I cracked the door open and picked up the note she had left. I'm from the 24th floor. I heard noises, so I came to bring you some supplies. The world isn't safe anymore. We need to stick together. Stay strong. I breathed out. I didn't take the supplies immediately. What if it was a trap? But then I realized, after moving so much stuff, I had already made plenty of noise. There was no point in pretending the apartment was empty. So I accepted the offering, eggs and noodles, and put them inside. Once everything was safe, I pulled up my phone and checked the security cameras in my old apartment. Ken and Lily were sitting in the living room, eating instant noodles. They had enough to last about a week. But then what? I checked the building's group chat. People were already talking. Did anyone hear gunshots? Yeah, I've heard several today. Was it looters? Then someone sent a chilling message. I saw a man and a woman outside earlier. They had a gun. I saw them climb to the second floor but then fall. They ran away. Everyone on the lower floors, be careful. I thought for a moment. I needed to warn them. So I typed. Just to be upfront, I was the one who got attacked on the second floor. That man and woman, they're my ex-girlfriend and her childhood friend. They tried to kill me, so I ran to another place. I'm safe for now, but they don't have much food left. Once they run out, they'll start looting with that gun. Please be careful. I'm sorry for putting everyone at risk. The responses came quickly. Some people cursed at Ken and Lily. Some worried about safety. Some discussed how to handle the situation. But no one blamed me. I had expected someone to say, "It's your fault for bringing them here." Instead, my neighbors reassured me. "It's not your fault. I've never seen a woman this shameless. Calls him a close male friend, but let's be honest, she was just stringing him along." Someone else added, "They have a gun. We need to work together." The chat was surprisingly united. That night, a few guys from the lower floors took drastic action. They grabbed whatever heavy objects they could find and blocked the entrance to my old apartment. Ken and Lily were trapped inside. If they wanted to leave, they'd have to climb out the window. The floors above them were either empty or had strong security bars on the windows. Even if they broke the glass, they wouldn't be able to get in anywhere else. Someone even locked the main entrance to the building, making our whole block safe for now. I breathed a sigh of relief. Just as I was about to sleep, Lily sent me another message. Annoying. I forgot to block her. Lily's message popped up. "Mike, do you really want me to die that badly? And do you honestly think you can run forever?" A chill ran down my spine. Could she see the comments too? My heart pounded. I forced myself to stay calm. Even if she could see them, so what? The comments had never said that I was staying on the 25th floor. At most, she'd know I was somewhere in this building. I didn't reply. Another message came in. "I really misjudged you. Heartless, cruel, leaving people to die. You'll pay for your choices." Oh, please. The comments were far angrier than I was. This woman. The main character lets her live. She wants to kill him. He blocks her escape. She wants to feed him to zombies. No matter what happens, it's never her fault. She's the ultimate fake innocent person. I swear, I want to break into the story and kill her myself. The main character is suffering too much. Guys, I'm seriously worried for Mike. If he doesn't die from zombies or starvation, he might die at the hands of these two bad people. That would make me so angry. Yeah, I needed a plan. The next morning, I finally replied to Lily. I already left supplies for you. Be grateful. After a moment, I sent another message. You can insult me all you want, but tell me this. If you had been the one trapped in a zombie crowd, do you really think Ken would have run in to save you? She responded instantly. Ken isn't as heartless as you are. I laughed. Let's see about that. I was actually relieved I hadn't taken every last bit of food. As long as they had something to eat, they wouldn't get too desperate. A trapped animal is the most dangerous, and I didn't want to push them into doing something reckless just yet. But they weren't just sitting around. Through the security camera, I watched them eating well, resting well, then planning. Planning how to steal more supplies. Planning how to force me out. Even planning to shoot me dead on sight. The two of them talked, their faces moving closer. Then, well, things got intimate. I quickly looked away. My eyes. But I wasn't surprised. I had known for a long time that their so-called pure friendship was complete nonsense. The comments? They went crazy. There were so many swear words I couldn't even read half of them. But before they could make their move against me, something else happened. A group of jeeps drove into the complex. Men with real weapons jumped out, shooting at the zombies in the area. Gunshots rang out, taking down dozens of zombies in seconds. Then, they set up camp right in our neighborhood. The building's group chat went wild. Who are these guys? Are they military? I peeked through the curtains. They didn't look like soldiers to me. Most likely, they were looters, a group of survivors who stole supplies from others. Not everyone had been lucky enough to store food. If this zombie outbreak lasted for months or even years, survival would become the only thing that mattered. And in a world without laws, there were always people willing to take instead of earn. I was still thinking about what to do next when I saw something through the window. Lily and Ken. They had jumped out of the second-floor window, and they were walking toward the armed men. Comments were flying in. I'm betting Ken has betrayed her, taken Lily with him. The next one read, Ken probably stole his gun from those guys, right? Another added, those people don't look like good guys. What now, are they going to go floor by floor robbing everyone? Yet another comment chimed in. I'm done with this. One problem isn't over and here comes another. With them coming down, it's clear they're out to get Mike. Sure enough, everyone guessed right. I then heard someone using a loudspeaker downstairs shout, Who's Mike? We heard you've hoarded a ton of supplies. We're all starving here. Why not help us out a bit? They kept shouting, and all I could do was try to stay calm. There had to be a way out of this. I opened my phone and saw a message in the residents' group chat. Mike, you're the guy who got dumped by his girlfriend, right? You'd better be careful and not show yourself. Someone replied, Those people are the type that commit every terrible thing imaginable. Our complex is now very dangerous. Another added, They're armed. If they force their way into our apartments, it could cost lives. We can't just sit and wait to be killed. They didn't even blame me, nor did they try to make me feel guilty for not risking my life for them. In that moment, I felt a bit grateful. My mind raced until I suddenly had an idea. I quickly typed, They've only been clearing out the zombies from our complex. I remember someone in the chat saying they have a drone, and another saying that zombies use smell and sound to find you. What if we use a drone to lure the zombies from somewhere else? Almost immediately, someone responded, I agree. Compared to zombies, the threat from those armed guys is far worse. Another chimed in. Exactly. As long as we don't leave our apartments, zombies aren't our immediate threat. But these guys are armed, and now that they've set up camp, even if Mike goes out to deliver supplies, they won't spare any other residents. Everyone here is smart. Action was quick. With supplies being shared and a few residents offering their drones, a girl from the 24th floor, shyly, stepped forward to help. She had already brought supplies to me once before, and I was really thankful. 2 drones were sent out immediately. At the same time, as soon as the drones took off, I heard several quick gunshots from downstairs. Someone shouted, "Not making a sound? Then don't blame us when we search every floor." Another voice yelled, "Residents on the 1st floor, don't say we didn't warn you. It's this Mike who's making you die first." To buy some time, I quickly called Lily's number. I said, "I can deliver the supplies, but I have one condition." I had barely finished when someone on the other end asked, "What condition?" It seemed they all thought we residents were just easy targets for them, treating this as a chance to enjoy my last moments before I inevitably died. And for them, that was apparently entertaining. As they wished, my voice trembled as I pleaded, Don't kill me." At that moment, Ken snatched the phone and laughed. "Don't kill you, Mike. When you want me dead? You sure aren't saying it like that." He always found a way to make fun of me, and he wasn't going to miss this chance. I silently read the group chat and listened to him go on. He said, "Some people are so selfish and petty, letting a small personal problem cost someone their life. And when things get bad, they turn into spineless little rats, all meek and submissive." Right, Lily. I told you before, you trusted the wrong person. Not like me. I came all this way to rescue you, to kill zombies, to climb and jump through windows to protect you. Yet you keep getting tricked by a guy like him. I said nothing. I wasn't in the mood to listen to his whining. Then Lily took over the conversation. She said, "Mike, you need to sincerely apologize to Ken, and of course to me too. Hand over all your supplies, and I'll try to convince them to let you go. But you really went too far before. From now on, it's every man for himself." Apologize? I immediately got louder on the phone and fired back. "Lily, have you lost your mind? Do you really expect me to beg at your feet just because of your little speech? How can you be so naive? I almost didn't recognize you. I thought you were one of those fake nice people pretending to be pure." I turned to Ken. "Ken, when someone says one thing, you have to come back with 3. With that big mouth of yours, why don't you go to the public restroom and lick every toilet clean? At least then you'd be doing society a favor." I heard both of them gritting their teeth. "Mike, just go die." I laughed and replied, "Oh, you really think so? Even if you both die, I'm not going down with you." After all, I was keeping a close eye on the residents' group chat. One resident was sharing drone footage. Sure enough, a couple of streets away, another complex was full of zombies. The drones quickly flew among them, making the crowd run straight toward our building. "They want to kill me? Let's see if they can even escape a zombie attack." The call went quiet for a moment, then ended. Soon after, I heard a lot of gunshots. I carefully looked out the window. Weapons were now hard to find, but the zombies had become even more numerous than before. The people in the jeeps had made a choice. Running away was the best option. So, while shooting to cover themselves, they quickly got into their vehicles. In the end, only one seat was left, and Ken jumped in. Even from this high up, I could hear his sad cry. He shouted, "Lily, I know you don't want me to die. Don't worry, I'll come for you." Then, with a quick kick, he pushed Lily out. The vehicle sped away. In other words, he left Lily behind with the zombies. Ha! Lily, you brought this on yourself. I had once asked her, when it came to choosing whom to save, whether Ken would be willing to rescue her. Back then, she told me, Ken isn't the cold-hearted type like you. Well, who would have thought? He left her. The comments went wild. Ha ha ha, this is hilarious. I can't stop laughing. Lily totally got what she deserved. Damn, she really messed up badly. Karma hit fast. So, are we allowed to celebrate now? I just can't wait. Such a pity that jerk Ken just ran off. Someone added, Upstairs, don't worry. Although I hate to say it, those groups of looters never end well. At that moment, Lily was completely alone and helpless. Ken hadn't even left her a gun, and as she ran and ran, it looked like the zombies were about to catch her. Yet, in times of extreme danger, people can do amazing things. She somehow found the strength to jump and grab onto the air conditioner unit, slowly climbing up to the second floor, and then, through the broken window, she got back into my place. That girl sure knows how to survive. But one thing was now clear. The looters were gone, and with them, the immediate danger to our complex was over. In the residents' group chat, people were cheering. One message read, "What a great and satisfying fight back." Another said, "I swear, I was looking out my window and it was more exciting than a 3D movie." Yet another commented, "But there's one problem. Mike's girlfriend isn't dead. Does anyone really want her to live?" Yes, that question made many people feel uneasy. After all, it was my personal problem with her, and the neighbors, so kind, wouldn't want to let someone live while watching her suffer. As I was thinking about this, Lily's phone rang. Of all people, she still had her phone in this dangerous situation, so typical of her. I figured I might as well listen to what she had to say. On the security camera, I saw her lying in the living room, gasping for breath. Her voice was weak as she managed to say, "Mike, I'm sorry." I laughed and replied, "Oh, look who's apologizing now, like the sun rising in the west. Weren't you the one demanding an apology from me just a while ago? What kind of act is this?" She hesitated before saying, I misjudged you. I was wrong about Ken." I scoffed. "First you say you were wrong about me being cold-hearted, and then you say you were wrong about Ken. If your judgment is so bad, why not fix it instead of dragging me into it?" Ignoring my sarcasm, she lowered her voice and said, "I should have listened to you. I should never have rushed out to save him. You know, when he was in such danger, I ran in without thinking. But then when the zombies came, he pushed me right into them. What do you call that?" I could only reply, "What do you call it? That's love." Before long, she burst into uncontrollable sobs, crying out, "Mike, Ken and I have known each other since we were kids, and yet he treated me like this." There it went again. First blaming me, then someone else, never once taking responsibility for her own changeable nature. If only, after breaking up with me, she hadn't begged to get back together, only to keep being unfaithful all along. I might have respected her a little. But what did I get? She couldn't decide between me and Ken. What a terrible, two-faced woman. Then she pleaded, "Mike, I'm sorry. Can we start over? I promise I'll listen to you from now on. Please. I miss you so much, Mike. Please forgive me." I couldn't help but be amused. Really, who would want a woman like her? Yet she treated my place like a place to dump her problems. I almost burst out laughing as I said, "Where do you get the nerve to think we can start over? Do I look like I need you in my life?" Then, with a heart-wrenching cry, she added, "Mike, you wanted me to die so badly. When I went out to look for him, you deliberately didn't stop me, did you?" That really made me angry. I gritted my teeth and said sharply, "Listen, do you even speak clearly? It sounds like your brain didn't fully develop. If I tried to advise you, you'd just accuse me of being heartless for not saving you. And if I didn't advise you, you'd say I'm cold-blooded. So is it that every nice thing I say gets twisted by you?" But she, as if unable to understand a single word I said, continued her pitiful whining. "Mike, it's all my fault anyway. But I need you to know that the one I've always loved is you. I feel like I'm about to break down completely." I couldn't be bothered to curse back, but the comments were far nastier than I ever could be. One read, "I can't take it anymore. My advice is to just go die." Another said, "When she's sleeping with someone else, Why doesn't she ever say she loves Mike? Yet another commented, I'm so disgusted I could vomit. Seriously, she's got the brain of a pig. She just doesn't have any. And one more added, I can't stop laughing. When Ken and her were planning how to shoot Mike, why didn't she say she loved him? Someone even shouted, Is she ever going to die? If not, I'm sending a knife to the author. Frankly, I wasn't interested in saving her. There were still unopened bowls of instant noodles in that apartment, enough for her for a few days. From now on, let her take care of herself. That's exactly what she said to me when she demanded I apologize to them, and now it was happening to her. Karma really does come around. I was exhausted from the day, so I collapsed and slept. The next morning, I saw a message from Lily. Mike, see you in the next life. I frowned in disgust, feeling so sick that I nearly couldn't eat breakfast. I quickly checked the security camera on my phone and saw that Lily had turned into a zombie. Sure enough, the comments confirmed it. Ha ha ha, serves her right. Karma's fast. Author, you really get us. Told her to die, and she died immediately. This is awesome. She still managed to become a zombie and scare people. Why didn't she just starve instead? It turned out that what she meant by not holding on yesterday was exactly this, but I couldn't feel happy about it. She was still wandering around my living room like a mindless corpse. I quickly reported the incident to the residents' group chat. The drone guy was sent out once more. This time someone sadly offered some duck blood, the kind you use for hot pot, as bait. Finally, they managed to lure zombie Lily out of the window. I watched her shuffling outside like a walking dead person, sighed deeply, and slowly closed the window. Thank goodness the government hadn't completely given up. Despite the usual power, water, and internet outages, there were still occasional airdrops. At first, it was just seeds for vegetables and fruits. Then, everyday supplies began arriving. Some people, really bored, even started building shelters on the roof to grow food and raise animals. In our building, the residents helped each other, sharing and supporting each other. Together, we survived for 3 long years. We kept the zombies away. Until one day, a happy announcement said that the end of the world was officially over. That day, I even asked everyone to help remove the barricade from outside the 2nd floor door. When we opened the door, a huge cloud of dust came into the air. I found Lily's phone. After charging it, I saw what had happened to Ken. After he left, he joined those groups of looters, burning, stealing, and attacking to get supplies. Then an accident injured him badly, and he ended up with a broken leg, unable to walk properly. His last messages were desperate pleas for Lily to save him. But by then, Lily had already become a zombie, and maybe he even tried to shoot her. In the end, he sent no more messages. In this end of the world, with groups of looters around, the worst parts of human nature just get worse. They wouldn't bother keeping someone around who couldn't help them. So, keeping him around was only useful for their own needs. As supplies got even more scarce, Ken's fate was pretty much sealed. I, along with everyone else, made it until spring finally arrived. But as for him and Lily, they chose a foolish path. In the end, they caused their own downfall. No one escapes what they deserve. On the community lawn, we all sang together, celebrating the coming of another spring.